In Bruce's second segment, he continues talking with his neighbor Howard Brown, and they talk about the days when there was mining in the basin, when there was, he restored a dray for the procession at the 100th anniversary of the hall. Some of his neighbors and some stories about them and about how they used the zigzag track over 100 years ago.
Lee's, then...
Was that Jimmy Lee?
Jimmy Lee.
Yeah.
And then Ted Nicol.
Right.
And then Fred Genvy.
Oh, well you became long-time friends of Fred Genvy, didn't you?
Yeah.
You used to cart hay, did you, with...
Hay with Graham.
Graham, yeah, rightio. And so Jimmy Lee, can you remember any stories about Jimmy and what happened over there? Or?
I know a few, but I'm not going to...
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's where the Lee in Lee Morrison Road came from?
Yeah, so next door.
So who lived in the stone house right down the bottom end there?
Jim Morrison.
Rightio, so which is the other part of the Morrison.
That's why that big tree next door...
You call it the maple tree?
The mailbox tree.
Yep.
They're both still in the tree.
Yeah.
But the mailbox is gone, but Jim Neary, Jim Morrison, Jim Lee and Charlie Godwin used to take it in turns to get the mail.
Right,
and
from up at the post office?
The Mudgee post office.
Yeah, right.
And if Jim Lee got it, he'd leave the other three in the mailbox.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And that's how it was.
Who ran the post office at the time?
Mrs. Wells.
Was that Maxie's?
Mrs. Ted Wells.
So it would be a relation to Max, would it?
Yeah.
Max Wells?
She'd be an auntie.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay. Oh, gee. Yeah. And can you remember the use of the zigzag at all?
Yeah, well...
back down here, that zigzag track?
Yeah, we used to walk up there, but not of late though. But
No.
Bill Lee lived next door. Like we weren't here then, but we were over at the old place. He used to twice a week take a horse and pack horse with eggs and butter up
to
Beechworth to sell.
Yeah, right.
And he was the first bloke to have milking machines in the district.
Yeah, right.
He milked 120 red poll cows.
That'd be a huge number in those days. Yeah.
And like his mother and her sister, they both lost their husbands.
Oh.
One was drowned in Lake Samble and the other drowned in a mine shaft. And so they both lived in a stone house over at Lee's.
Yeah, right.
And they had over 200 white leghorn chooks. And they used to sell the eggs.
Yeah.
And when they'd go to Beechworth twice a year, they'd go June and December, and after they'd been in June, they'd prepare to go in December.
Yeah, right.
And
God, it's not that far either,
and
is
they'd
it?
never invite you in for a cup of tea.
Yeah.
It was always a cup of cocoa, and used to give us kids hot peppermints.
And right, I remember them, yeah.
One had a fall and broke her hip, and she was bedridden for the rest of her life.
Gee.
And one day Bill came in and she said, I think there's a snake up in that vent behind that picture. And Bill pulled the picture aside and big black snake curled up there. So he got the bed and pulled it over the other side of the room, brought the shotgun in and shot it.
Rough and ready.
And I'd come over here to go around the sheep and cattle. I'd ride the bike and leave it up the road because there was a lot of tussocks you couldn't ride around the paddock. And when I'd come back, the bike's tied to the fence with barbed wire.
Oh.
Old Bill had been rabbiting over in Ferguson's. And,
a bit of a trickster, was he?
Yeah.
Ah, gee.
He was a great old bloke.
Yeah. Can you remember any of the last part of the mining at all?
No,
Not
the
really.
only mining I sort of knew was up Anderson's mine behind Orton's.
Oh yes, where their water, they get their water out of that mine, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And the miners used to come down to the post office at lunchtime to get their mail.
Yeah,
Like Max Sonneman used to bring the mail, and like in
so Max is Neil's dad?
yeah,
That's right, yeah, right, yeah.
and he had a car for a start, and then when the war was on, he had horse and gig,
Yeah, right.
and Auntie went with him to the beach where she'd have to walk up the gap
Yeah.
because the horse couldn't pull the two of them up.
No, but she was
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
And what, do you remember any old hotels anywhere between?
Yeah, there was one sort of opposite Glen Charles down there at the moment.
Rightio.
One at Taylor's Gap,
Right.
Ron O'Connor's. One at Orton's, where
Yeah.
those elm trees used
Yeah,
to be.
yeah, they're still there.
And then where Sonneman's house is,
Rightio.
and one at the top of the gap.
So sort of 5 or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and Tom Witherow and I don't know whether it was George, they come home from Beechworth, they'd called in there to have a beer and it was closed and they fired a couple of shots up in the air.
Wake them up a bit. So the trees are still up the top of the gap, aren't they? Those, the sort of some trees where that would be where the pub was.
I can remember the building,
Yeah.
but not as a pub.
No. Well, yeah, rightio.
I can remember the building at Sonneman's too.
Yeah.
And Orton's house was brought down the gap from Beechworth,
Right.
and Jim Witherow's house was from Warragee.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, you
and,
still got it still there.
And I don't know where, I think Sonneman's house was brought there.
So behind Milton Lodge, where you grew up as a child, there was a little cottage.
Yeah,
Can you remember the people, any people that lived in there?
yeah, George Ward. It was a single room for a start, that's where the shearers used to sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
They used to come from Peachley,
oh, right.
and we used to, like when they came, we used to bring a big potato bag full of oranges.
Oh, from Peachel Bay,
Yeah. And then after shearing, they'd grab a kerosene tin and help us milk their cows.
Ah, gee. Tell us about the old dray that you resurrected. What happened? Where did that come from?
Oh, the old lorry.
A lorry.
Yeah, it was in a scrap up at the sewerage farm when I worked there.
All right.
And I said to the engineer, Don Pope, if I could buy it. And he said, oh, he didn't know how much. And then he said, how about $10 a wheel?
Yeah, righty.
And I said, right. And anyway, Jim Witherow, Ronnie, and Greg Allen and I went up to get it. And Greg said, don't tell me you're going to try and restore that heaper. and it took me 8 years.
Ah,
Off
it
and on.
looks great. Well,
I do a bit.
some photos.
Then
boys.
get sick of it and push it back in the shed. And anyway, when I got it finished and painted up, I put it in the Easter parade at
That's right.
Beechworth.
Yeah.
And Denise Ray lent me her draft horse, and Ronnie led him down the street because I thought the crowd might frighten him,
Yeah.
because we had 15 kids on the back. Denise was nursing Stacey. She was only 6 months old,
All right.
and I had a placard on each side, populate or perish. And Denise and I had masks on, so people would know who
Who
it
it
was.
was. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I took the lorry up to our back too a few months back.
All right. Yeah, you did up at the hall.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bruce. We've covered a lot of ground, and I think the stories are interesting, and hopefully we can record them for histories.